Alright, Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Baal Shem, Yahawashi, Baal Shem Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to all the hopeful elect, pushing out this word in sincerity and in truth. This is Brother Quad from the DC camp coming back at you with another lesson, and I'm entitled it, Do Not Tempt the Lord. Alright? And the Hebrew word for tempt is nasa, meaning to try, to test, try, prove, tempt, assay, put to the proof, or test. To test, try, to attempt, essay, try, to test, try, prove, attempt. So, pretty much, the scriptures say, without faith, it is impossible to please the Most High. You know, and you gotta believe in them. You know, and part of tempting them is not believing in them, man. You know, you trying to prove the Lord's power. You know, or authority. Okay, so first scripture that I'm going to get. Well, I want to get because I have wrote this definition down. It says men are said to tempt the Most High by exhibitions of distrust, as though they wished to try whether he is not justly distrusted. All right. So yeah, men are said to prove or tempt the Most High when they doubt as to his power and aid. All right. So that's why. Let me get Deuteronomy 16. Salakia. This is Deuteronomy 6 in verse 16. It says, I just did the same thing again. This is Deuteronomy 6 in verse 16. It says, ye shall not tempt Yahweh your power as ye tempted him in Massa. Ye shall diligently keep the commandments of Yahweh your power, and his testimonies and his statutes which he commanded thee. Alright, so Massa is the place where they tempted him in the wilderness. Which I'm going to get that. But it says you should not tempt Yahweh your power as ye tempted him in Massa. Alright, so this is let me start with okay. I got a couple that I wanted. Alright. This is Numbers. What in the heck? I wrote down a lot of them multiple times on accident. Give me 1 second. Alright. Alright, this is Exodus 17. I'm going to start from the top. It says, and all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed in the wilderness of Sin after their journeys according to the commandment of Yahweh, and pitched in Rephidim, and there was no water for the people to drink. So here it is. The Most High did that to test them, but they try and test the Lord. Right? It says, wherefore the people did chide with Moses, and said, give us water that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, why chide ye with me? Wherefore do ye tempt Yahweh? And the people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses and said, wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst? And Moses cried unto Yahweh, saying, what shall I do unto this people? They be almost ready to stone me. And mind you, this is after the Lord showed them all these miracles. You know, and that showed their lack of faith. You see? He showed them all these miracles. He delivered them out of Egypt. And they think that the Lord was just going to kill them in the wilderness. It says, and they was ready to stone Moses at this point. It says, and Yahweh said unto Moses, go on before the people. Still like it. Go on before the people, and take with thee of the elders of Israel, and thy rod with wherewith thou smotest the river, take in thine hand and go. Hold up. I want to jump down. Well, I'm gonna keep going. It says, "Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel." Verse 7. And he called the name of the place Massa and Meribah, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, and because they tempted Yahweh, saying, "Is Yahweh among us or not?" See? So they was tempting them, saying, "Is he among us or not?" They wanted something done in their own time. And that's what we should learn from this and know not to do that. Because that's all throughout the scriptures. All right. So the place Massa is actually how it says Massa, meaning temptation. All right. And let me see what Meribah is. Meribah is Maraiba, meaning strife or contention. It says a fountain at Rephidim in the desert of Sin, so called because the Israelites murmured against the Most High. The name of the water supply of Kadesh on the southern border of the land of promise. The people also murmured here against the Lord. So they was tempting. They was tempting, saying, "Is he among us or not?" And we ought not to do that. Next one I got is Numbers 14. Yep. This is Numbers 14. It's a whole bunch here, but I'm not trying to get the whole thing. Okay. This is Numbers 14, verse 17. It says, "And now I beseech thee, let the power of my Lord be great, according as thou hast spoken, saying, Yahweh is long suffering and great, and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and the fourth generation. Pardon, I beseech thee, the iniquity of the people, according unto the greatness of thy mercy, as thou hast forgiven this people from Egypt even until now." Yeah, because they was tempting them from Egypt up until that point. It says, "And Yahweh said, I have pardoned according to thy word, but as truly as I live, all the earth shall be filled with the glory of Yahweh, because all those men which have seen my glory and my miracles which I have did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have tempted me now these 10 times, and have not hearkened unto my voice." So not hearkening to the voice, it says tempting them, testing his power, you know. It says, "Surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers, neither shall any of them that provoke me see it." You see? So when you tempt the Lord, you're not going to inherit the promised land. In this case, you're not going to get saved and being to the church and then taken to the Holy Land. On the first go round, you gonna have to learn it after death by pain, man. And it's a lot more. Um, Numbers, the 21st chapter, it talks about um, how they spake against the Most High and against Moses, because he brought them out to Egypt to die in the wilderness with no bread. And remember, the Lord he gave them bread, man. But they wanted what they wanted, which brings me to my next point. Psalm 78. Psalm 78 got a lot of it too. It's like the history. This is Psalm 78 in verse. Okay, let me see. I think it's Oh, okay. Psalm 78 in verse 15. I'll start from. It says, "He clave the rocks in the wilderness and gave them drink as out of the great depths. He brought streams also out of the rock and caused waters to run down like rivers. And they sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness. And they tempted the Most High in their heart by asking meat for their lusts. So they asked for meat for their own lusts, man. You know? They could never have enough, man. They couldn't just wait and trust in the Lord. You know, and that was the first part of the first definition that I read for men are said to tempt the Most High by exhibitions of distrust, as though they wish to try whether he is not justly distrusted. So just like when they was like, is he with us or not? You know, or give us this, give us that. You know, and this is after they already seen the power of the Lord, and they was talking about we should go back into Egypt. You know. Let me jump down. 41. Okay. Okay. This is I'm gonna start from verse 26. Psalm 78, verse 26. It says, "He caused an east wind to blow in the heaven, and by his power he brought the south wind. He rained flesh also upon them as dust, and feathered fowls like as the sand of the sea. And he let it fall in the midst of their camp, round about their habitations. So they did eat and were filled, for he gave them their own desire." And remember, he told them to eat it all up, and then some people wanted to save some, man, tempting them as if he couldn't provide. It says they were not estranged from their lust, but while their meat was yet in their mouths, the wrath of the Most High came upon them and slew the fattest of them and smote down the chosen men of Israel. For all this, what? Hold up. Okay. Yeah, verse 32. For all this they sinned still and believed not for his wondrous works. So after all that, they still was tempting them, still didn't believe in him, man. It says, therefore their days did he consume in vanity, and their years in trouble. When he slew them, they sought him, and they returned and inquired early after the Most High. And they remembered that the Most High was their rock, and the high power their redeemer. Nevertheless, they did flatter him with their mouth, and they lied unto him with their tongues, for their heart was not right with him, neither were they steadfast in his covenant. And that's just like Jake, man. You know, when they need something, that's when they gonna call on the Lord. You know, but they wasn't doing it from the bottom of their hearts. They didn't truly believe in him. Okay, they had no option, and that's so when they finally found that they got something, that's when they went back to their own ways, man. Okay. I'm gonna keep going. It says, "For their heart was not right with." Oh, I will keep going. It's verse 37. "For their heart was not right with him, neither were they steadfast in his covenant. But he, being full of compassion, forgave their iniquity and destroyed them not. Yea, many a time turned he his anger away, and did not stir up all his wrath. For he remembered that they were but flesh, a wind that passeth away and cometh not again. How oft did they provoke him in the wilderness, and grieve him in the desert? Yea, they turned back and tempted the Most High, and limited the Holy One of Israel." And that's what the same thing Yahawashi said when he said that he couldn't do much works because of their lack of faith, man. That's what it means by they limited the power, the Holy One of Israel. They remembered not his hand, nor the day when he delivered them from the enemy. See? So, hey, man. Like I said, without faith, you can't please the Lord, man. You know. And it's more. If you jump down to like verse 56, it says, Yet they tempted and provoked the Most High and kept not his testimony. So this is ongoing, man. This was back and forth with these Israelites, man. And mind you, they did the same thing to Yahawashi. But Yahawashi is who we should learn from. Let me go to his story. When he was tempted. This is Matthew 4, in verse 1. It says, Then was Yahawashi led up of the spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. So he gonna show us how to do it right. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he were afterward hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If thou be the son of the Most High, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, It is written, Men shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High. And that's what the Lord wanted us to know back then. It says, Then the devil taketh him up into a holy city, and setteth him on the pinnacle of the temple, and saith of him, If thou be the son of the Most High, cast thyself down, for it is written, He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. And this is what Yahawashi says. Yahawashi said unto him, It is written again, Thou shalt not tempt Yahweh thy power. See? And so pretty much you ever have these people say, if the Most High is real, jump off the building, and you should be able to fly, you know? Because the scriptures say, if you have faith, you should be able to move mountains, right? You know? And then you got people that's unlearned will say, well, yeah, I believe that the Lord will catch me. No, because then you tempting the Lord. You try and you try to make the Most High move when you want him to move. And you're going to be disappointed, man. Okay? And that's how Yahawashi carried it. And it was the second definition that I wanted to get. It says, by impious or wicked conduct to test the Most High's justice and patience, and to challenge him, as it were, to give proof of his perfections or imperfections. Right? And that's what they try to do to Yahawashi. Let me get an example. This is Mark. Yeah, this is Mark 12 and verse 14. It says, And when they were come, they say unto him, Master, we know that thou art true and carest for no man, for thou regardest not the person of men, but teachest the way of the Most High in truth. Is it lawful to give tribute to Caesar or not? Shall we give or shall we not give? But he, knowing their hypocrisy, said unto them, Why tempt ye me? Bring me a penny, that I may see it. And they brought it, and he saith unto them, Whose is the image and superscription? And they said unto him, Caesar. And Yahawashi answering said unto them, Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar, and to the Most High the things that are the Most High. And they marveled at him. So they tried to catch him up. And that's why he said, Why are you tempting me, man? You know, they tried to make him seem like he wasn't that man full of wisdom. Tried to tempt him up, talking about paying to should they pay the taxes or not to Caesar, you know, because you usually pay that to the Lord. So render to Caesar what's Caesar's, or you usually pay your 10% to the Lord, you know. But he got him, you know. Second time, John 8. That's just one example. I wanted to do a whole lesson on Yahawashi cutting these demons. All right. This is John 8 verse 4. It says, They say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what sayest thou? So they tried to get him to contradict the prophets. All right. It says, This they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. But Yahawashi stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground as though he heard them not. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him cast the first stone. And again he stooped down and he wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest even unto the last. And Yahawashi was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. See? So he got them that way. They tried to catch him up in the law. Meanwhile, they was hypocrites and was sinners themselves. You see? So, hey, man, the point is, don't tempt the Lord, man. Okay, I got 1 Corinthians 10:9. It says, "Neither let us tempt Hamashiach, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents. Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmur and were destroyed of the destroyer." Yeah, that's why the scripture tells you not your hearts in the day of provocation, man. You know, so you ain't supposed to tempt the Lord, Yahweh or Yahawashi, man. Okay. Now I got a couple more, and I'm gonna close. Um, This is Sirach 18, verse 23. It says, "Before thou prayest, prepare thyself, and be not as one that tempteth the Lord." All right, so you should know the things that you should ask for, man, and not tempting the Lord. You got some people, they try to put like an ultimatum on the Lord. I believe in the story of Judith. He was like, if the Lord doesn't do it by this time, then we'll give ourselves into the enemies, man. You know, you got to prepare yourself when you praying, knowing what you want to ask for, and be careful not to tempt the Lord. All right. Uh, no. It was another one. Okay, this is the last one I want to get. I had a couple more, but I want to close on this one. This is Wisdom of Solomon 1 and verse 1. It says, "Love righteousness, ye that be judges of the earth. Think of the Lord with a good heart, and in simplicity of heart seek him. For he will be found of them that tempt him not, and show of himself unto such as do not distrust him. For forward thoughts separate from the Most High, and his power, when it is tried, reproves the unwise." See? So, hey man, the Lord is going to be found of the Lord is going to be found of them that tempt him not, man. He going to show himself to them that do not distrust him. All right. And when you tempting them, you showing that you distrust them. You know, we got to put all our faith in the Lord. You know, and also, you tempt the Lord when you think you're not going to be judged because he's merciful, man. Sirach in the 7th chapter, or it's fifth and 7th chapter. One of them says that the say not that the Most High will look upon the multitude of your oblations, man, and he just gonna accept it, your offerings. Or say not that I have sinned and what have happened to me, for he's long suffering. But the Lord's not gonna let you go, man. So, hey, in your walk, remember that. Just don't tempt the Lord and be like Yahawashi was, man. You know, don't try to force the Lord's hand. He's gonna do things in his own time. All right, and you just stay the course. So with that, Lord willing, that was edifying. Until the next lesson, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Hakadash, and I want to say Shalom.